Hi guys, I'm going to do another tutorial today and I'm going to do kind of a retro glam look for Valentine's Day. Um, I know my fiance hates when I wear red lipstick, but most girls like to wear it to feel kind of glamorous and sexy and all that. And it's kind of like a Valentine's Day staple to have nice red lips. And I'm going to do my winged black eyeliner and just a really simple eye to go with the bold lip. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. First of all, the brushes I have to use. My fan brush for doing a contour to give you a nice high cheekbone. Blush brush. Highlighting brush. Concealer brush. Crease brush. Blending brush. And an eyeshadow brush. My brushes haven't had a bath for a couple days, so they're not the cleanest. I suggest you use clean brushes. I'm just doing it on myself, so really not a big deal. For my lips, what I'm going to use are two matte colors for liners. The first one is red, and the second is auburn. I'm going to do kind of like an ombre style lip, so two different color reds. I'm also using just a Revlon lipstick actually, and it's from the matte collection, and it is called In the Red. So just a really matte red lipstick. I'm also going to create, doing the ombre lip, I'm going to use the tiniest bit of a white lip pigment just in the center. Normally I would use the OCC Lip Tar, which is my absolute favorite lip product. Like for really bold color, but I can't find mine, so I'm going to use this one. It is 3CE, 3 Concept Eyes, and it's a lip pigment. Very similar to OCC, just not quite as pigmented. For my contour, I'm using the unique shade that I used before, which is Irresistible, just a nice matte medium brown. My blusher, I'm using the unique blush in Sophisticated. And on my eyes, I'm going to use Provoked and the pigment Sexy, which is just a really shimmery, really neutral shimmer. Provoked is matte, just again really light, kind of medium brown. So I'm going to get started. So the first thing that I would do, I'm also going to be using my own mirror again, as you guys probably know by now, so I can actually see what I'm doing. So first thing I'm going to do is my contour on my cheekbones. So I use my fan brush. Mine is a NYX brush. Actually, I really love the NYX brushes. I have the whole set, and they are some of my favorites. So just get a tiny amount of the pigment, really, really lightly on your brush. And you want to get the pigment nicely on the end of your brush. So you got a decent amount on there. Not too much because you don't want it to be really heavy. And I'm going to try and do this so you guys can see. If you're not quite sure where your own cheekbones are, a good way to find them is to do like a fish lip. And you can see that's where your cheekbone is. So you want to just really lightly start to give yourself a line there. Really lightly kind of just brush it on. All the way down to the to the hollow of your cheek, and it's gonna look pretty harsh at first, but don't worry. Blending is the key to any good makeup. You always got to blend it out. So give yourself that contour first. I'm gonna do it really, really dramatic so you guys can see the placement and what I'm actually doing. So that's my cheekbone. What I also contour, if I'm going all out and doing a full look, I'll go ahead and get a little bit more of that on my brush. And I'll also move my hair so you guys can see. I'll bring it up right here in my temple to give you the illusion of that nice, long, oval-shaped face. So just a little bit there, blend it into your hairline so it doesn't look like just a spot there. And you can even blend it down your hairline to join in where you contoured your cheekbone. Okay? I know it looks pretty funny right now. And with just the smallest amount, you might not even want to reload your fan brush. I have a larger nose, so obviously. So I like to contour my nose as well when I'm going out. So I'm going to use my mirror so I can actually get in there. So with your fan brush, it's easiest because it is actually the shape of your nose. So you just really lightly apply some of that powder onto your nose, and you can even bring it up just slightly under your brow. So you can see it already is making the illusion of a thinner nose. Okay, now I'm going to do both sides so it doesn't look funny. Okay, and then I will sometimes even do right here and along your jawline, just underneath. Just a tiny little bit. I wouldn't even reload your brush, just use what's left over on there. And these little bits right here, these little corners of your chin. My phone's ringing, sorry. Okay, so once that's all done, just touch up any little bits. Do a little bit under your nose if you have a longer nose like me. And then the next step is, for me, I add my blush. So I use a MAC brush, 120, I think I've had it for so long, it's hard to even read the number. I think it's a 120, it's your basic blush brush, one of my favorites for blushes. So then you take your unique pigment or whatever you're using as a blusher and just start with a little bit. And this is where you want to smile big and get those apples of your cheeks out. So smile really big and just apply along the same line where you contoured. And again, don't worry if it's not perfect because we're going to go over it and blend it after. So just in a circular light motion, go right over top of that contour. Kind of focusing more on the apples of your cheeks and then just blending that color out. My skin's terrible right now. And then do the other side. So this pigment is, or this blush is really, really pigmented. You really only need a little bit. Little goes a long way. I'm actually using my computer as a mirror, so hopefully this turns out okay. It's not the greatest. And you can even bring that color up in kind of a C formation around your orbital bone there. Okay, so there's the blush done. And next step I do is a highlighter. And I'm actually using the unique Pigment Sexy as a highlighter. It's just, you want a little bit of shimmer for your highlighter, not sparkle, but just only a small amount to just bring attention to your cheekbones. So I'll take my, excuse me, my highlighting brush. I actually am using a Quo brush from Shoppers, and it's not so bad. I have a number of brushes. This is just what I have at hand right now. So I just get a small amount of that pigment on my brush, just a little bit. And then you want to focus kind of not quite under the eye, just over where you applied the blush. And sweep that out from about mid-cheek all the way up to your hairline. Just a couple strokes of that. You can see it already brings a lot of light to the eye area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side as well. I should have had this ready first. I just got my hair cut today and I'm still getting used to it. It's very short. Okay, so there's that. And I forgot one of my brushes again. I'll be right back. So this is the brush that I use to blend my highlight and contour together, just so it looks a little more natural. I'm not even sure what brand it is, but it's kind of like a Stomper bronzer brush, really dense fiber, or really dense hairs on it, so it gives you that kind of buffed look. So I just go over everything, lightly buffing it all together so it looks blended. Both sides. And then I'll take my foundation kabuki brush, and I wear a powder foundation with concealer, so I've just still got my mineral powder foundation on here, and I just go underneath the highlight just to kind of accentuate that line. Do that on both sides. And I will kind of lightly go over my nose contour as well, so it looks a little more natural. Okay, so that's my really simple highlight and contour using powders. You can actually use cream concealers as well. I would only do that if you're really like going for an all-out kind of glam look. You can soften it up, but it takes a lot longer too. It's easier to do it with powder. So I'm going to start on my eyes now, because I'm going to save the lips for the last, because they are actually going to take the most time here. So I'm going to use, just before I use my shimmer pigment, I'm just going to accentuate my crease just a little bit using the Provoked by Unique. So again, I'm going to go really light on the eyes because I'm doing a bolder lip. I mean, if you want to, you can do bold eyes, bold lips. I feel it's kind of nice to just focus on one area. So I'm going to use my crease brush. This is actually also a Unique brush, and this is my new favorite brush ever. This has replaced my old favorite brush, which is my MAC 222 crease brush. Still love this one, but you get a lot more definition with the Unique. It's a lot more dense hairs. I'm thinking of the mascara. So I'm going to use this in my crease. So just a little bit of the pigment. Again, their pigments are really pigmented, so you only need a little bit. So I've just got a small amount on the end of my brush. I'm going to tap off the excess. And this is where I really need to use my mirror, so hopefully you guys can see. And if you don't know where to find your crease in your eye, pretty much just open your eyes and you can see where your lid kind of folds in. That's your crease. There's a bone there, and that's actually your orbital bone. You can feel it. So you want to focus right underneath that bone. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this kind of warm brown, really neutral, in the crease. And just lightly brush it. And you can close your eye and just go back and forth with it. And you can even wing this shade out a little bit more. When I'm doing my crease, I kind of focus more on the outside. But this, again, is a really natural color, so you want to kind of define your natural crease and make it look deeper and bigger. And that's the whole point of doing this. So I'm going to do the whole thing. And just blend it out. I usually try and blend it out somewhere to where my brow ends. And then blend it back to your inner corner. I'm sorry, outer corner of your eye. I can't think and talk at the same time. Okay, so there's my first crease. Very natural. I'm quickly going to do the other side. Okay, so there's my little crease contour done. It's not perfect, of course. It's always best to just, well, my technique for makeup is just get it on there and blend it out. If you've got a good blending technique, you're good to go. That's all you need. So I'm going to take that same pigment that I used for my highlight, and it's called Sexy, and it's by Unique as well. And I'm going to take my regular shadow brush. This also is from my NYX brush collection. one of my favorites. So just get a good amount of that pigment on your brush. And going right under your eyebrow, you just want to follow your natural arch. And as you can see, a little goes a long way with this as well. It's very, very pigmented. Has a really nice shimmer for under the brow bone, so kind of draws attention to your eyes. So just put that right over, and I'm also going to put this underneath my crease right onto my lid. And then I'm going to take my MAC 222 brush, my old favorite, and just blend that all right in the crease, blend it all together. I usually avoid using shimmers on my crease. I just don't like how it looks. I try and keep it matte there. Shimmers on the lid and shimmers under the eyebrow, that's great. But I don't particularly like shimmer in the crease. Okay, so there's one eye done. I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to do my other side. Okay, so there's my shadows done on my eyes. Next step I'm going to do is my liquid liner. I'm actually using a felt tip liquid liner, and it's by a company called Essence. Now this liner, I believe, costs about $3 or $4. It's from Shoppers, and I'm telling you, it is the best liner. I had the MAC like super fine felt tip liner. I think it's $26 before the pro discount, so it's pretty expensive. And I'm pretty sure it lasted me a couple of weeks before it started to dry out. These are great. You can get them in the super fine tip, which I like, so it's a lot longer and thinner, or just a regular felt tip. So this is my favorite right now for what I use for my liquid liner. So what I do, oh, my tip is all messed up. It's no good. So I'll show you kind of basically what the tip is. I think I put my lid on kind of wacky before, so this is what the tip looks like, long and thin. Now the technique that I use to get that nice long wing, I actually start on the outer corner. So I kind of find where I want my wing to end, and I start from underneath. And just make, sorry. I wish the tip of this wasn't ruined. It would be so much easier. So anyway, so you just make that wing starting from underneath, like you kind of want to draw it down to where your lower lash line is. And that's what you need to start with, and that kind of gives you an outline. I'm just going to quickly go see if I can find my other felt tip liner, because this one's not going to work. Okay, so I'm back, and same felt tip liner. I always have a backup. It's good to have just in case. So this is what the actual tip is supposed to look like, not scrunched up like the other one. So it's nice and thin, perfect for doing this. So let me try this again. I'm going to start where I want my wing to come out, and just one confident stroke gets you the shape. And then the next step that I do, I leave that there, and then I start from my inner corner. I hope you guys can see. And again, another confident stroke. If it's not right on your lash line, that's okay. Just go in and fill it in. You want the black to go right into your lash line. And then you go back to your wing, and you can kind of see where this line ends. And I take it about 3/4 of the way across my lash line. Just like that. And then you just bring this across to meet that line. And you'll have a gap there. That's okay. You just want to make sure it's a nice straight line. And then you just go in and fill that with your pencil. Fill that gap in. And if it's not perfectly straight, then just go over it again. So that's my liner. Pretty simple. Practice makes perfect. I've been doing it for years. So that's how I do it so quickly. It is pretty simple once you get your technique down. So there's kind of the eye. I'm going to wait to do my lashes. I'm going to do that at the end. And I'm actually going to leave this side bare. I'm going to get started on my lip. So I always start with a clean lip. I put a tiny bit of lip balm on, and I even take a really soft toothbrush and kind of just gently, in circular motions, get any dead skin off or anything like that. It's going to kind of not look so nice. Yeah, and a little bit of lip balm so your lips are nice and soft. And then I always start on the top with my lips. So I'll actually usually start in the Cupid's bow to get a really nice defined shape. My little one is sleeping here, as you could probably hear her. So I like that sort of a gradual arch in my Cupid's bow. So I'll start on one side, then I will do the other side to make sure they match. So don't even focus on the rest of your lip when you're doing it. Just focus on that Cupid's bow and make sure they are even and matching. That looks pretty funny. Okay, so once you've got that Cupid's bow, I then go from, this is kind of awkward, I'll go from my top lip's inner corner here, and you want to get right into the corner. And you just want to meet that line that you made before. Make quite a thick line with this auburn pencil or whatever kind of darker, more bluish red that you've got. And you just want to try and keep the line really crisp. Sometimes I like to exaggerate my top lip a little bit, make it a bit bigger. I'm going to try and stick just with my natural lip line right now. If it's not totally perfect, that's fine, because I'm going to show you a little trick to make sure it does look perfect when you're done. Okay, so I'm just going to do my other side. Okay, so my top lip looks almost even. I do that so I can see the Cupid's bow. So you can see this one is slightly shorter. So I'm just going to fix that. So that looks better. So there's the top, first outline. I'm going to do the bottom. And with the bottom, I just follow my natural lip line. You can exaggerate it a little bit if you have smaller lips. I find when I exaggerate my bottom lip, I look like not so cute. So I'm not going to do that. And I always start just right underneath the lip, right here. And just kind of draw yourself a line to have a starting point. Okay, then again, I'm going to go from the inside corner of my lip and just kind of gradually meet the two lines together. So there's your basic outline. Looks okay to me. Not perfect, but okay. So that's where I'm going to start. Next thing I'm going to do is get my other MAC pencil. And this is the color Red with 2 Ds. And this is more of a bright, like orangey red. So what I'm going to do with this one is just fill in the rest of my lips with it. And you can go over a little bit where your auburn color is. So just start wherever you want to. It's all going to be the same. Subtle ombre look. Okay. Now, my lip outline isn't perfect. And of course, I want it to be perfect. So I'm going to use, this is a really simple little secret. I'm going to use just a tiny bit of a concealer that matches my skin tone. Just the tiniest little dot. And you take your concealer brush. I'm sure you guys can imagine the next step. So just get a little bit of concealer on that flat edge. I always use a flat edge concealer brush because I use my concealer brush to clean up my eyebrows as well as my lips. So you want it flat, sharp edge. I use a Ben Nye. FB7 is the number. And it's my fave for concealer. So not too much, just the smallest amount, just enough so you can clean up those edges. And you just take your mirror close up, and whatever you're not happy with, just clean it up. A little bit more. Now you want to make sure this concealer brush doesn't actually get into the lipstick, because then when you go to clean up your other edges, you're going to get red, which you don't want. So that gives you that sharp, clean edge that I like, especially with a bold, dark lip. You want that. And this actually helps the color from bleeding as well. And what I always do is take a light concealer and go in my Cupid's bow. There. So that's the basic red, simple, subtle ombre lip. Now I'm gonna kind of kick it up another notch because I like crazy bold lips. So I'm gonna take my matte lipstick that fell on the floor. So again, it's number 007 Revlon Matte in the red. So I'm just gonna take this and I didn't get my lip brush, so I'm just gonna put it on from the tube. I normally would use a brush. You get a much better application, but I'm only using a little bit of this on the outside of my lips anyway. So you just want to kind of go, trying to keep it on the outer line. You don't want to go over that lighter color in the center of your lip. So there's that. I'm just going to clean up that one little edge because I can see it's not perfect. Shoot. See, that's what happens when it gets in the red. Okay. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is just take a piece of tissue paper and just really gently press it onto your lips. Really, really gentle. Just to get any excess off. Hardly any came off on my tissue because it is liner, which is kind of nice. And the lipstick's matte, so it's not as messy. Now for me to make my ombre lip, I take my white pigment. Again, my favorite is the OCC Lip Tar in Feathered is the color, and it is amazing. You can make any lip color pastel or any ombre color. It's so nice. I love it. But I can't find mine, which is pretty tragic, so I'm going to use this kind. This is my backup. It's all right. It's not OCC, but it's okay. And then I did go and get my lip brush because you do need it for this. I'm kind of unprepared, guys. So I got my lip brush. It is a NYX lip brush as well. Again, one of my favorites. And I'm just going to get the smallest amount of that white lip pigment. Get a little bit more so you guys can see. So just like that, small amount on your hand. I always use my hand as my palette. It's always close at hand. Okay, so get a bit of that on your brush. Avery's waking up. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly do this. So get close up to your lip, take that white, and just on the very center of your lip, kind of brush it on. Okay. And you want to do the top as well. Just in the very center. Looks pretty funny. Okay, then you just kind of want to press your lips together really gently. Don't smush them around because then it's going to spread everywhere. Just like that. And then you just kind of blend it out. You want to keep this in the middle of your lips. That's the whole point, ombre. But you want it to blend nicely. Okay. And just blend it until you like how it looks. I like that, so I'm going to leave it just like that. So that's my red ombre lip. Pretty simple. I'm just trying to fix it a little bit. Okay, so that's that. If you don't like the ombre, just keep it simple, red. The outline is basic, works like that for any color you want to do. The cleanup is a really simple trick to make your lips look perfect. Yeah, so that's that. So I'm going to quickly do my other eye and then quickly do my lashes so you can see the finished product. Okay, so there is my finished look. Valentine's Day red lip, retro winged eyeliner, and of course my unique 3D fiber lashes. So there's a closer look at my face. Contour, highlight, simple eye, of course my brows, and that simple black winged liner. That is so easy to do once you get the hang of it. Takes no time at all. And the lips. So hope that helps you guys out if you want a nice, sexy, retro glam look for Valentine's Day. I wouldn't say these lips are kissable, but they look damn good. So that's all that matters. Okay, bye guys. Thanks again.